Hey YouTubers, it's Grandma Dasher here. I just want to do a recap from yesterday, December 27th, here in the Gilbert, Arizona area, Mesa, Gilbert. That was yesterday. I dashed about 6 hours and I made just over $160. So I was really, really happy about that because money has been so terrible for the past several months that I thought about giving up. You know, it was just like, ugh, must have run its course, time to quit and move on to something else. But anyway, this week has been really good. I've only worked about 5 shifts and I've made about $700. Now back in the day when I first started, I was making $200 a day. So I was averaging between $1,200 and $1,500 a week. But I was working 12-hour days and I was hustling 7 days a week. So I was after that bag. Anyway, I want to tell you a few twists and turns about yesterday. I'm a cherry picker and I refuse to do Walmart and lowball offers because they always end up bad. And I get punished for it. I know that I'll be right there close to a great order and I will get passed over and I will get nothing but crap sent to me. And that's my punishment for being a cherry picker. But what I do is I stick to my standards. I wait because eventually they're going to have to send me something decent because there's only so many drivers. And once it gets busy, they've got no choice because I'm usually sitting right in the parking lot where the good orders are. So I typically like to hang out in Chipotle's parking lot here in Superstition Springs, Mesa, either that one or the one at the Dana Park shopping center. They're surrounded. There's at least 20 to 30 restaurants within a mile of sitting in the Chipotle parking lot. And I always end up getting something. I can be sitting there and get a double order from Chipotle and simply walk in the door because I'm already there, pick up my orders and run. Then there's a Chili's right next door. A lot of times I'll get double stacked with Chipotle and Chili's. Love that. I lucked out yesterday. I happened to get 2 orders from Cheesecake Factory for once that weren't crappy. I got one, the total was like 8.4 miles for 2 deliveries, okay, total. And the total minimum payout that I was promised was like $24. Ended up making almost $40 because Cheesecake Factory people tip. Most of the time they tip and they tip well. It's a higher end restaurant. It's a better quality of food. Typically when I'm delivering, $60 and up to a family, it's typically a single family home in a nice development, like a $400,000 home or up. And I just love that. Now, obviously everybody can't afford a $400,000 home. There's still some great customers out there who tip decently, who live in apartments. Yes, I mentioned apartments. Everybody hates apartments, but you know what? It's part of the job and we got to do it. What I can recommend, I got that Beans app and I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. So what I recommend is stick to your delivery area, get to know it really well and understand how the apartments work. Let me just tell you, there's no logic whatsoever in the way that they number the buildings or the apartments. I'll just give you that right out. No logic whatsoever. You have to use your own brain and do the math and figure it out. What I do if I don't know an apartment complex and all they give me is the apartment number with no help as to what building number, I always look for a map first at the entrance. If there's a map, I can find it easily, no big deal. If there's not a map, I got to use my brain and start doing the math. So typically if the apartment number is say like 2050, it's a second floor apartment most of the time. And most apartments either have 4 or 8 apartments per building. So I just kind of do the math. So if it's number 50 and let's say they have 8 per building, 8 times 6 is 48. So I'm going to guess it's somewhere around building 7. So if the buildings are in order, which they typically never are, but if they happen to be in order, you're going to be pretty lucky to find the apartment fairly quickly if you do the math and figure, okay, apartment 2050 is probably in around building 7, give or take. That's how I do it. And what I do is I always look when I'm coming in because typically you enter the gate and there's buildings to your left and buildings to your right. Either building 1 is going to be on your left or your right. And typically the higher number buildings like 35 or whatever is going to be on the opposite side. They typically go like around in a square, typically. So if it's apartment like 1150, that means it's like apartment 150. So it's going to be in a higher building number, around like 35, I'm guessing. So that's kind of the logic I use to muddle through apartments. And the more you go to them and memorize where everything is, the easier it gets. And there are thousands of apartment complexes here in my area. I am not exaggerating. So that's my tip for apartments. What happened yesterday that was bad was, I don't know what was up with McDonald's. Typically, they're pretty good about getting your order ready on time. You kind of get in and get out, especially the ones that are not drive-through only. I hate those McDonald's because you get stuck in that line and it's just time is money and you lose money when you go to the drive-through at McDonald's. So I went to 2 different McDonald's yesterday. Both were drive-through only, and I got the shaft both times. So I had to cancel both orders, which dinged my completion rate. So now I'm at a 94%, which I'm normally around a 96 and up for completion. I've done almost 3,600 deliveries in about 7 months. So I really do hustle. But yeah, so McDonald's, I don't know what was up with them, but I would wait in that terrible drive-through line, get to the window, and they'd say, "Oh, sorry, it's not ready. You're going to have to wait." Pull around. I pull around and sit there and think to myself, what am I doing for this lousy $7 payout? I've got 20 minutes invested already and I haven't even left the restaurant. So I'm going to avoid McDonald's for a while because they seem to not have their act together all of a sudden. And they were one of the good ones. But anyway, overall, yesterday was a good day. I made about $162 in 6 hours. I cannot complain about that at all. I drove about 116 miles to do that. So right around $1.50 per mile payout. So I'm not complaining. Gas here is $2.19 a gallon. I drive a Mazda 6, which gets upwards of 25 miles per gallon. So I have no complaints. I just want to let you guys know how yesterday went. This is Grandma Dasher. Hey, do me a favor, y'all, and subscribe. If you like my content, subscribe. Like this video if you would, share it if you would. I've got like 5 subscribers, so I could really use your help. I'm trying to monetize my YouTube channel for another stream of income, because as you know, we hustlers out here in this gig economy, you just got to have more than one way to make money. All right, peace out, y'all. I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and mwah!